Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome back to our channel Cricket. I'm back with my friends Zarak Rahman and Ashar, and we will be discussing
Hello,
the
everyone.
ongoing test series between West Indies and England. Second match has been completed. Our odds say the third test match and the series decider will start. And Assalamualaikum guys, how are you guys doing?
Hello, Zaid. Hello, Zaid. Walaikum salam. Hope you all are good.
Alhamdulillah. कैसा
Doing
लगा
good,
आपको? How was the second test match?
I think second test match was another thriller like the first test match, even though one day it got washed out, day three, but even then it went into the final session on day five, and England managed what I would say a miracle win because it seemed like the match would end in a draw, but Stuart Broad's burst, great spell it was, and then Ben Stokes, he's probably the best player in the world, many are saying. So 1-1, all set for the third and final test match now, which is starting today.
Your take on that, Zarak, right?
I think it was a brilliant match where you can say that Test cricket was at its best. Both teams had their share of chances, but I think this match I can particularly say that it was like Stokes versus West Indies. But people are saying that most of the credit should be given to Stokes, but I think that was like bits and pieces performance by every single other individual as well. You look at Stuart Broad, and especially after his interview during the first test match when he was dropped, and he was determined, he wanted to perform, and he showed his skills and his swing in this test match, and he showed why he is one of the best bowlers of England right now. And other than
Exactly.
that, Ben Stokes was phenomenal. You can see all his efforts in the batting when in the first innings when he played that slow innings where it was needed to play, and then in the second innings he came in as an opener and he just busted up. And I think it was like a 32 ball 50, something like that. And he played according to the situation, and then in his bowling, and then that fielding, that magnificent effort he did when he ran all the way towards the mid-off, I believe, after bowling. And so that shows that England are like
Shows his
100%
commitment.
committed. They're 100% committed, and they have these individual performances with them. And West Indies need to be very careful. I was thinking that West Indies have the advantage in the second test, especially after no Anderson and no Jofra Archer. But hats off to the way that England performed in this test match, and it was a good victory. And now finally, today is a day when it's a do-or-die situation for both the teams now.
Let's have a look at the match summary now. And yeah, here it is. Ashar Jawad, would you please go through it?
Yeah, so England, they batted first. They were put into bat by the West Indies after Jason Holder won the toss. England got off to a wobbly start. Roston Chase picking up 2 quick wickets in the first session. And England and Ben Stokes, he played a phenomenal innings where he scored 176. And England completed their innings on 469 for 9 declared. They took just little than 2 days to bat, and many thought that England had batted at a slower rate. Then West Indies, day three, it was washed out, and West Indies were bowled out for 287 in their first innings, giving England a lead of around 180 runs in the first innings. As Zed just mentioned, that England, they changed their batting order because they needed some quick runs in the second innings. They sent Joss Butler and Ben Stokes in to open the innings, and England scored around 129 for 3. I guess they batted around 20 odd overs, it's something like that. And a great knock from Ben Stokes once again. Loved his the 6 he hit against Kemar Roach in the second innings. So England, they set West Indies a target of over 300 and had about 85 overs to bowl them out. And the match went on till the final session, and when they wrapped things up by bowling West Indies out for 198. I personally think that the West Indies would be quite disappointed with the result of this test match. They should have really drawn this game because only 1 innings was completed at the end of day 3 because day 3 was washed out. So all West Indies had to do was survive 2 days, and they couldn't. And the series is now 1-1, and we look forward to the third test match. It's going to be a thriller again, I hope so.
Absolutely. And after Jofra Archer's, we all know he was dropped after the breach, and the way Chris Wokes and Stuart Broad came into the sides and Sam Curran and contributed, just shows the potential they have and the bench strengths they have, and they took the responsibility and bowled brilliantly against West Indies throughout the Test match.
Exactly. I think that goes on to show
So lagging.
I think a little. I hope it will be resolved soon. Was there this? What do you think, Zach? I think West Indies would be quite disappointed with the way this match ended. They should have done this. They were in a very good position to draw the match and secure the series, the Wisden Trophy they're playing for.
Yeah. Especially with their advantage when the day 3 was washed out. So they should have been confident that they have the batting lineup. It's not that their batsmen were not informed. Their batsmen were definitely informed from the first test coming. But unfortunately, credit should be given to the new bowling trio of Wokes, Broad, and Curran. Bowled really well, and they took good wickets. They took wickets at the important time.
Yep, I think it was Stuart Broad's spell that turned the game. Even though Ben Stokes played a great role in England's victory in this Test match, but it was this spell from Stuart Broad turns around. I went out for a drive that day, and when I came home, West Indies still had 6 wickets in the bank, and inside an hour they were just all out, and that brought England back in the game.
Exactly. No, they were pretty rusty with their batting, and I think they had no clue. I don't know why, but they really had no clue how to play against the ball which was coming in. If you see a lot of their decisions for going towards the LBW appeals, and there are a few close ones as well, but they were really not getting the balls which were coming in. So they need to be technically a bit solid with that. They need to be very good with their defense. I mean, playing their shots, they're very good. Everyone knows West Indies when they come in there. When it comes to playing their shots, West Indies are very good at it. But it's the defense where everyone feels. I mean, you need to be very good technically when you come on and when you try to tackle that in-swinging yorker or an in-swinging ball that comes towards you. So you need to be ready for that. And I think Stuart Broad was splendid with that. That what you just mentioned is short burst.
I personally believe that. I think Shai Hope, the kind of batsman he is, we all saw that in the World Cup. He needs to take some responsibility. I think he has only scored 50 odd runs in the series, along with Campbell, their opener. So these two batsmen who are experienced, who've been with the side since I think a couple of years, even more than that, they need to take some responsibility.
Plus, I think their bowling lineup, which were really good in the first Test match, they really disappointed in the second Test match. I mean, if you look at Kemar Roach, Shannon Gabriel, Joseph, especially Gabriel and Joseph, I think they had a little bit of niggle because after every few overs, after bowling like 4 or 5 overs, they used to just go back to the pavilion for a checkup or something.
Yeah,
so
Gabriel
I don't think
he struggled in his run up as well. Shannon Gabriel in the first innings, just as the match started, he had a problem right there. So you're right about the fast bowlers.
Joseph and Gabriel both had some niggles, and they need to sort that out. If there's a little bit of fitness doubt in there about it, then I don't think they should be picked in the third Test match today.
Yeah. So now let's discuss the third Test match, which is starting today. What's your prediction, Zark and Uzair? What do you think? Who's going to win this? And let's also discuss the team predictions to voter. Starting with.
So coming to
I think your internet is also lagging because I can really hear you.
Zark, we're saying that
Can you hear me?
Let's discuss the third Test match. Who do you think is going to clinch the series? And let's also talk about the team combinations the two teams would play in this third and decisive Test match.
Oh, I think it's going to be an exciting third Test match. Finally, after lockdown, this first series after lockdown, and it's like getting way up to our expectations. And it's an amazing series so far, and I think this will go down to the wire because both the teams are looking forward to this. They have a chance to win the series. There will be changes, of course. I think from England's point of view, especially their bowling department. I think the bowling department is kind of thing because James Anderson and Jofra Archer are back in the squad. So I don't think they have to do. I mean, if I was captain, I won't be making too many changes in this winning combination. But because James Anderson is back and Jofra Archer is back, this will give me some thinking. And I think that the player that will be for James Anderson will be Sam Curran for sure. So
Do you
Sam
stay
Curran,
for Jofra Archer?
I think Jofra Archer will come in as well. I don't think he should be because I would rather pick Chris Wokes because he's in excellent form. He's in very
really
good form.
well.
Yeah, he's going very well. In fact, I just saw his average in England. He has picked up 75 wickets at an average of 22.9.
That's a phenomenal stat.
That's a very good record for someone who's bowling in England. So he knows the England conditions. He knows how to utilize those. But then when you talk about Jofra Archer, I mean, you talk about pace, you talk about aggression, you talk about bouncers, you talk about hitting on the head. So you need that kind of bowler as well. But I don't know. Sam Curran will be one of them, or maybe it could be James Anderson. Of James Jofra might be and Sam Curran. So yes, I kind of think right now that Jofra Archer will be replacing Sam Curran, and Anderson could miss out the third Test match. He could be given a full next series of Pakistan maybe. And
yeah, because they have
batting
the
department
workload as well. The English team,
Yeah,
they have
exactly.
to manage the workload as well because there's 6 successive Test matches, 6 Test matches on the trot without much break. So you need to manage your workload very well.
So they don't want to lose. They don't want to lose James Anderson in that case.
Yep. I also think that, I think Anderson should play the next Test match, as you're saying. James Anderson should come in for Sam Curran. And Stuart Broad and Wokes should bowl alongside him. I don't think there is a play.
Personally, I don't want Jofra Archer to come in. I really prefer James Anderson to come in and replace Sam Curran.
Yeah, Wokes should. We agree on that.
Yeah. But I personally believe that Jofra Archer will come in place of.
Batting lineup should be completely the same.
Yeah, Jose.
I personally believe that Jofra Archer will come in place of Sam Curran because we all know that Wokes and Stuart Broad, they're not the type of bowler who constantly bowl at 90 plus miles per hour and threaten the batsmen with their bouncers or their Yorkers with the pace, basically. So I personally believe that Jofra Archer will come in for Sam Curran, and James Anderson is likely to miss out on the last Test match. And their batting order did well against West Indies in the second Test match, so I think they'll stick to that. And the only change that I can see is Jofra Archer coming in for Sam Curran. And coming to the West Indies side now, they don't have much backup in their batting department. They have backup bowlers. And so I think Kemar Holder might come in for either Alzarri Joseph or Kemar Roach. Kemar Roach was amongst the wickets, so I don't think they'll drop him. I think he might come in for Alzarri Joseph, as we've all heard of Holder and how exciting he is and the young talent. Or they can also bring in Rahim Cornwall, who hasn't played a test in this series so far. So let's see what happens. But I don't think they can change much with their batting order. They can just bring in a Holder or any other fast bowler replacing their bowling.
But I mean, looking at the previous Test matches, Chase has been very useful with his off spins. So maybe do you think that Cornwall can come in and give him that support in the spin department and trouble the England batsman? Because Cornwall first his debut Test match had been he's done really good. I think he took 10 wickets in a Test match against Afghanistan.
Well, I think did you ask Uzair or me? Well, I think personally that the weakest link in the West Indies batting lineup has been Shai Hope, who has underperformed. But he's a really good player to be dropped. So I don't really see a place for Ryan Cornwall in this Test series, especially in the decided Test match. So in my opinion, West Indies should stick with the exact 11 that played the first and second test match. Because let's be honest, West Indies won the first test match quite convincingly. And the second test match, they lost in one bad session because they were on track to draw the game. And just one bad session happened, which resulted in them losing the test match. So I think West Indies should stick with the same 11 they have throughout the series.
But as we saw
Same
in the
here.
previous test match, especially in the fourth innings, Dom Bess was turning the ball. And Roston Chase, we all know he was amongst the wickets.
Yeah.
He was able to turn the ball as well. So don't you think bringing in Raheem Cornwall, who can also bat, let's not forget, he has opened the batting in the CPL. So don't you think that provides them with the batting option and an extra off spinner to support Roston Chase?
Well,
No,
I
but
think
I think-
he's a liability with the bat and in the field.
No,
And-
and plus you just talked about opening batting in CPL. You're playing in England conditions, so there's a big
Exactly.
difference between
There's a world of
CPL and
difference.
England conditions. Yeah.
There's a world of
So I think with
difference in the
ball-
CPL and
the
Test
ball he
cricket.
can be useful. With the ball he can be useful, and with the bat, I think he his batting action is like quite higher. His stance is quite higher, and he could be. He can be easily trapped with his stance the way he comes in batting.
True, especially in the swinging conditions here.
Yeah.
And
So
I
I
don't
think
think
England, you don't need
any
to
West
change
Indies
much.
batsman.
You don't need to
Right
change
now.
much in West Indies batting lineup. I think
Yep.
they're fine with
Yeah,
it.
I
As
think
you said, it's
I've
just one
identified
bad session.
two weak links in the West Indies batting lineup. The one is Campbell, and the other is Shea Hope. You cannot drop Shea Hope because of two bad test matches. And Campbell is your recognized opener. So I don't even see how Ryan Cornwall can replace Campbell. So I
They have
honestly
another
don't agree
opener
with
as
it.
well. They have another opener as well, and I think his name is De Silva or something. West Indies opener. They have a backup opener, and I've heard he's done very good in his previous series, in some warm-up matches, and he could pair up with Brathwaite. So we have to wait for that. That we can find out in a couple of hours. And otherwise, I think Shea Hope should not be dropped. You're right. I
Yeah,
agree with you.
obviously should not be dropped. So guys,
Yeah.
let's wind up our video. But before that, let's
Let's
predict who's
talk
going to
about the
win.
predictions.
Exactly. Let's predict who's going to win, the main thing of our video.
Let's start with Zach Bhai.
So who's calling first? Okay, Zach.
Okay, I think right now all the confidence, all the motivation, all the momentum is with England. So I think this is exactly the kind of momentum England wanted. So I'm going with England 2-1, and they'll win the series. And my take is Jofra Archer. If he plays, he's going to rip through the West Indies batting lineup, and this match could be ended within 4 days
If it doesn't rain.
if it doesn't rain. I've heard it's going to be a rainy test match. The forecast
That's-
is very bad for this match.
Ashar Bhai, what about you? What do you think?
Well, my mind is with England, but my heart says it's going to be West Indies. So I'm going to go with my heart, and I think West Indies are going to pull off a famous test
That's
series.
the West Indies. That's the West Indies supporter saying right there.
Oh yes, rally round the West Indies.
Yeah, man.
I'd go with West Indies as well, because we've seen England
Oh, yes.
throughout the test.
What do you think, Uzair?
I'm going with West Indies. We've seen throughout the test series that England have been highly reliant on Ben Stokes. So picking up Ben Stokes early on in his innings, and I think and tackling his bounces and his. I heard he has a niggle, so he might not be able to bowl in the last test match, which starts today. So if he's unable to bowl, then I think if you pick him up early in his batting, West Indies have a great chance of winning the test series.
So it's 2-1 in favor of West Indies
Okay.
here amongst
Only,
our panel
I
as
just
well.
want to say one thing. In the end, Ashar, if West Indies really want to win this match, it's all upon the bowler to do it. Because last time in the second test match, when the West Indies won the toss, they elected to bowl, and we all thought that they were going to give some tough times to the English batsmen. And it was overcast conditions. They failed to utilize the conditions. So it's all upon the bowlers, how the bowlers utilize the conditions. And they need to take 20 wickets.
Well, I think if West Indies win the toss this time, they must bat first. Put runs on the board.
Yeah. Because
That's
English
how I think-
batsmen,
I think this
not to
time-
forget, England batsmen were quite smart with their batting. They made sure they played through the 2 days. They made sure they play full 2 days, and they put on a total of over 400. So that's what you have to do. You win the toss, you bat,
If you
and
bat
at least
first,
they
there's
should
no
be putting
pressure
on
of chasing.
Exactly. So West Indies seamers, the seamers need to pull up their socks, and they need to bowl fast, and they need to be aggressive against them.
I agree.
So let's wrap up the video now. Do you have anything else to cover?
No, I guess we've discussed all.
So
That's it. I think it's going to be an exciting test match,
It's
and let's
2-1
see
in the
what
favor
happens.
of West Indies here, and let's see what happens. Comment below and tell us what you guys are predicting, what you think, and who will win the test match, the test series. And it's a wrap from our side, and we'll be back with another video soon. Until then, do subscribe to our channel, comment, like the video, and do give us your feedback. And we'll call it a night now. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.